place, worm. Prepare yourself. Damn Saiyan.
At the end of my videos, I normally put a piece of fan art along with whatever music I'm using through the video, showcasing the fan art itself and the music. And in my last video, I had this. This picture was too good to remain just one of those throwaway pictures I put at the end of my videos, or a random picture that I put at the end of my videos. I wanted to go ahead and make a video on this because I have a pretty interesting theory on how this would work. So, Vegito during the Frieza Saga. That's what this picture showcases. It's really, really well done. I believe I got it from DeviantArt, if I remember correctly. I wish I could find the artist's name so I can go ahead and give him credit, but the picture itself is worth 1,000 words and it's amazing. And I wanted to go ahead and give you guys my thoughts on what would happen if Vegito was at the beginning of the Frieza Saga, if something had happened where the Supreme Kai came down and they had to fuse, Goku and Vegeta had to fuse to face against Frieza. So here are my thoughts on that. This is just kind of like a theory, speculation style video. And the first thing I want to mention is if there was a combination of Goku and Vegeta in the Frieza Saga, say right before, as soon as Vegeta meets Frieza and Goku gets out of the healing pod, he gets a Zenkai boost. If there was a fusion right then and there between the two characters, I feel like the Vegeta would be a lot more of Vegeta than he is right now in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. In Dragon Ball Z, at the very end, where he's fighting against Buhan, and then even in Dragon Ball Super, when he fights against Zamasu, Merge Zamasu, I mean, he is technically very much Vegeta. He's got more Vegeta characteristics. There's more of a Vegeta influence when it comes to his character, but there is still some Goku there. And I believe this is the case because Vegeta and Goku have, especially in the Buu Saga, they have moments where they're enemies. They become more allies and more friends throughout as the sagas have continued. They're more rivals. Their connection is a lot stronger. But in the Frieza Saga, that's not the case. Vegeta is still very much the antagonist in a certain aspect. Goku is completely different, polar opposite. They really haven't had much interaction with each other except for the Saiyan Saga. So I feel like a fusion between them two would result in Vegeta being the dominant personality in the fusion. So that's number one. The second thing is I do not believe that they will be able to go toe-to-toe with 100% Frieza, and that's the very, very big, bulky form of Frieza that Super Saiyan Goku goes up against at the very end of the Frieza Saga. And the reason I think this is because Vegeta really couldn't stand up to Frieza in his very base form. The final form in its base. He really couldn't stand up to it at all. And then we have Goku who could, but once Frieza unleashed 50% of his power, he was being dominated completely all over the battlefield. Now, the fusion seems to really escalate the powers of both characters exponentially. So, I believe it was in the Z Saga, in the Buu Saga, that Supreme Kai was saying that the stronger connection between the two fighters, or the stronger characteristics, comes out to a much stronger fusion, this and that. So that kind of makes sense to why when Goku and Vegeta really couldn't stand up against Buhan, and then when they fused, they're much more powerful than Buhan. Or Vegeta and Goku, when they were trying to fight against Merge Zamasu, they were getting completely owned, and then they fused and then they're completely dominating Merge Zamasu. So I feel like in those two instances, that was the reason that they were able to be a lot stronger, because they have such a better connection with each other, and their power was able to go a lot higher. When you have Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta and Super Saiyan Blue Goku fighting against just Zamasu and his Super Saiyan Rose Goku, I mean, their powers is closer to the gap when it needs to be competing with Merge Zamasu. So it's not like a big leap of faith to think that yes, that's too huge of a power leap. When you get Vegeta and Goku fighting against Buhan, even Goku fights against Buhan at some point in Super Saiyan 3, and I mean he was kind of holding his own, but he still needed Vegeta because he wanted to do the fusion. So it's not a huge leap of faith when it comes to seeing those two characters fuse and being able to contend and be stronger than Buhan. When it comes to final form 100% Frieza, it took Goku going into a legendary Super Saiyan form to be able to even compete against and in some aspects dominate really 100% Frieza. But with those two combined, without Goku going into the Super Saiyan form, then I don't believe that they could. I believe that they could kind of withstand the onslaught that is 100% Frieza, but I don't think that they could really be much stronger than that. Plus, definitely people who are saying in the comment section, well, they probably wouldn't let Frieza go to 100%. Yes, they fucking would. Vegeta has done so with Cell and many characters. He's let them get to their strongest points and then, face them, and so has Goku. So, yeah, the reality of 100% Frieza, that's definitely there. And that actually goes into my next point, that there won't be a Super Saiyan. I don't believe that, unless Krillin sticks around and gets destroyed at some point, I don't believe that there's going to be a Super Saiyan transformation in the Frieza Saga. Because if Vegeta and Goku were fused together and Vegito came about, like I already stated, the fusion would be much more Vegeta, so if Krillin got destroyed at that point, there would be no real trigger for Goku to be turning into Super Saiyan, because it'd be much more Vegeta. Vegeta really doesn't give, two craps about Krillin. But even if the fusion stopped, if they separated, because yes, I mean, I'm not gonna go with Dragon Ball Z standards where we didn't know that the fusion was about an hour long, it wasn't permanent. I'm gonna go with the correct consensus in Dragon Ball Super that it is canon. The fusion doesn't last, is not permanent for I think it was just for mortals. It's not permanent, so they would separate at some point. So I don't think that even if they separated and they were getting to beat back by Frieza, I don't think that there would be enough and trigger for even if he destroyed Krillin, for him to turn into Super Saiyan at that point, because more than likely he'd be exhausted. But then again, you could say that he was exhausted when he threw his Spirit Bomb. I just don't. It'd be very unlikely unless the history was just meant to repeat itself, and Krillin decided to stay in the battlefield. I don't see him staying in the battlefield. I see if the Supreme Kai is there, I see them trying to gather up Piccolo, or try to gather up Bulma and trying to get back to the spaceship to leave. Or maybe Supreme Kai takes them off world in some manner. That's kind of what I'm assuming would happen if this went into being. Mystic Gohan would be a character earlier, and that would be young Gohan. I believe that if the Supreme Kai came down and met Gohan, he would see that Gohan has innate potential, just like Guru did. Then he would take, even if he took him back to the planet of the Kais really early on, like right in that moment, and let Vegito fight it out with Frieza, I think that they would realize that Gohan has much more potential, and then it would be much earlier that Gohan would either turn to Super Saiyan 2 or go into his Ultimate Gohan state. And then this brings me to my last point. Vegito would lose against 100% Frieza. The time limit was about, with Super Saiyan Vegito, was about an hour-ish, you could say, when he fought against Buhan. I mean, really, we don't have any real way of measuring it, but it was a couple episodes, so I would assume it'd be like the full length of the fusion, of the non-permanent fusion. And then when he turned to Super Saiyan Blue, I mean, he fought against Mirza Mazur for maybe like 10 minutes or 10-15 minutes, half the time, or a quarter of the time. So, because of the godly nature of the Super Saiyan Blue transformation, I would assume that's the reason that they split apart so easily. So I think that even with the transformation, with the combination of both Goku and Vegeta, at those points in their career in Dragon Ball Z, I think that the fusion would last its course. It would run its course about an hour. If they let, which more likely would happen, they let Frieza go 100%, they would have their work cut out for them fighting against 100% Frieza. But then the time limit would cease, and that would mean the destruction of both Vegeta and Goku, because Frieza would just destroy either both of them, hurry up and destroy the planet even more, make sure that the planet be destroyed faster. And a lot of you guys might be thinking, oh well, Vegeta would go into Super Saiyan just like he did in the Buhan Saga. It was a huge trigger of Krillin dying for Goku to go into Super Saiyan. And by the time the Buu Saga, when they fight Buhan, comes into play, Vegeta and Goku can already go into Super Saiyan 2. So that's kind of how they go into Super Saiyan in Vegito form. So I don't see them going into Super Saiyan in a Vegito that is in the Frieza Saga. That's just my opinion. But let me know in the comments section below what you guys think of this scenario. Drop me a like if you liked my video. And this is going to be Dragon Ball Black signing off.